This opportunity really is just you guys picking any topic that you want and literally just running with it because me doing this all of the time just it creates a level of comfort, right? Hey, we show up, all of a sudden someone's going to say some stuff and I'm going to listen to it. Do I buy into it? All that great, all that great stuff. But realistically, as leaders, we need that kick in the ass. So there'll be a day, Dave, when you'll have to be in silence or not on your treadmill or whatever where you lead. But I, Benny and I have talked about this stuff offline before about some of the things that he wants to do. So honestly, I'm going to call on you today, buddy, to just lead part of this talk. And you can talk about anything from mindset, limiting beliefs, scheduling, responsibility, consequences, consistency, roadblocks, self talk, vision. Do you give up? What do you avoid? Be daring, like all those things. So I'd love for you to just, whatever's going on in your world, tell the story like we tell it here. And then we'll open it up to what other people are experiencing it. So if you're in a safe, comfortable spot where you can go for 5 or 10 minutes, I'd love for you to just take this call away based on wherever
You,
you're at in life.
you took me by left field here. I have no idea what I'm talking about, so I gotta think about something.
See, but that's what I'm saying. That's the part about being a leader where it doesn't matter.
Right.
You're already a leader. That's why I wanted to do it this way. I wanted to shake shit up so that we could have that initial reaction, right? So that's literally what you can talk about. Hey, I'm not ready. But in truth, if you walked into a real estate deal where all of a sudden everything was a complete mess, you'd walk in and you'd take ownership. It's all I'm looking for here, right now. Whatever it is that you want to talk about, whatever it is you're juggling, whether it's how your new assistant is working out and the things that are going on internally, whether it's continuing to grow your business, whether it's things that are bugging you that you want to change. Doesn't matter what it is. And it is better to be caught out of left field because, again, that stimulates that fear and then overcoming that fear and just taking charge. So
Okay.
that's,
Well, I mean, we just do a quick little recap on my life.
yep.
I had an assistant for 3.5 years, and she was wonderful. And unfortunately, she had to leave abrupt, like real quick, within a few days. Left me scrambling. I did a quick ad, and I found a new one, and she's doing great. And it did have me going with my limiting belief because having my assistant there, she knew everything what I wanted, like to a T. She knew everything about me. And I gave her full reign on everything in my business. She had my ATM card, she had my passes to my email, to my social media. And then when I lost her, I did not have a plan for the next person. So yeah, so I'm kind of winging that with my new assistant. She's doing great. She's learning. She's picking on. Loyalty was key for me, and she's pretty loyal, so she's doing great. So that's one thing. A little bit about myself as well as I'm not the kind of person who wants to do $1 million. I've talked to Steve about this. Money does not drive me. I'm driven by doing a great job and continuing um, just by doing a great job. Like I said, money doesn't drive me. However, I enjoy living life not having to worry about money,
Yeah.
even though I hate money. I just
Yeah.
as long as I don't have to worry about it, I'm good. Um, as far as being rich goes, I always tell people being rich to me, being rich does not mean you have $2 million in the bank, a million, five producing rentals. To me, and this is only me, being rich means having zero bills and being able to pick up and leave and go on vacation tomorrow if you wanted to. And that's me as a whole. My business is slowed down tremendously this year. I've had a lot of setbacks this year, personally and business and professionally. And the way I look at it is, I've had 8 phenomenal years, so I have a shitty year this year. Big freaking deal. Let's pick it up. It's easier saying that than doing it because as I live through, and when I say I'm slow, I got 3 escrows now, a couple buyers, but there's something different in the air right now, which I shouldn't have that mindset. I just feel it, and I bring myself down, which I shouldn't. But there's just something in the air that tells me shit. It's not going to be as good as the previous years. And that's a mindset thing. That's why I'm here with Steve. Um, you know,
So what I think is really interesting is you and I share a lot of similarities in the same thing. Like I don't give a shit if I'm making 1 million or 2 million a year. Like I don't care. That's not my drive. I'll be teaching today at San Diego Association of Realtors, and right now I have two escrows, but those two escrows are like over $4 million in pending real estate.
it's
Right. Right. And for me, I'm like, that's cool. That's kind of where I wanted to be at. I don't want to have 10, 12, 14 escrows going single-handedly because that means I'm always going to war and that doesn't allow me to leave and kind of take more of those vacations or, a mental break. And I think part of it though, Benny, honestly, is that we've also paid our dues. You know what I mean? It's like, how long do you have to hustle like a lunatic, right?
right.
There's more to it. And so that is something I play with as well. And Dave, he's also with me, and he'll be coming more full time soon as he transitions. And he's heard me bitch about that just for my own life. I'm like, dude, you have the hunger, you have the drive. I'll show you. I'll bring you to the promised land, no problem. But I've already been there, for so long that I want to go to a different spot. And with respect to really ruffling where your life is at with respect to a new assistant, because I have the same thing. I have an assistant that's been with me for 7 years, and she has everything, my social, my credit cards, like you name it, every
Yeah.
password. I mean, identity theft is no problem for her. I could be existing on 8 continents as different people right now with the information she has. But it's the same thing. There was a point where I wasn't able to afford her um, based on where she wanted to go. So she took a full time job that she still has a lot of space, but we didn't know how that was going to work out. And man, I remember just bawling my eyes out when she and I were talking about, will she or won't she still be with me because of that connection. Fortunately, she is, and we were able to figure it out. And it's like that that type of a relationship. We want to have real relationships, but then also I think our personality types are set it and forget it. Like, you know me, you know the process. Call me in for the heavy lifting. Other than that, we'll just do our thing. And so that's a massive shakeup for you. So I was able to retain mine, but really, how is that affecting you? Is it making you stronger and understanding you have to be more diligent in your organizational behavior? Is it freaking you out? Is it like what is
It,
that doing to you?
it's made me, well, it's made me realize we've done this before. I've done this before. Okay. I've had no assistance for such a long time. The thing I missed more than anything was the teammate success. When I did good, she felt like she was happy, just as happy as me. It was a teamwork thing. We built this business together. We had a goal to be the number one agent in Escondido, and we made that last year together. Um, and losing that, now I have an hourly employee who's great, but it's more of a job for her,
Yeah,
and
there's there's
so you just
a cultural piece missing for you then.
yeah, yeah, and she's doing great. She's doing wonderful. But there's, hey, we got a new listing. Oh, that's wonderful. Rather than, all right, let's, what do you want me to do? Want me to drive over there, bring him a shot, like something like she'll go do something, surprise the client for me.
That's really
She had
cool.
my, yeah, I missed that, So that's just something I gotta, put into this other person. But maybe this is the way it is for right now, and it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. You
Yep.
know,
But it makes you step up and step out,
yeah.
And lastly, the other comment about, hey, I did so amazing these years. This year has been not, it's been a lot different, setbacks, things like that. I remember, I think it's 4 years now, 3.5 years ago. So I sold like 44 houses in our office, and I was named like the top salesperson for the year and all that stuff in our office. And I'll never forget because it was such a struggle to do those numbers, like maintaining the headspace, maintaining the mental health, that as soon as it was like January 1 or even before that, like a week before that, I was like, how the fuck or why the fuck do I want to do this again next year? I'll never forget asking
It's
myself
good.
that.
Oddly enough, I know exactly how you felt this year. I mean, yes. I'm like, it's over. Like, what did I get out of it? I fucking got a lot of crazy deals done. I don't
Right?
know.
It added more zeros to my bank. I'm not gonna lie, but holy shit, I spent money like it was going out of style too. So
Yeah.
it's like everything. It's all relative, and um, and it's just
Yeah.
like exploring all of these things, right? So for you, let's touch on for what the point or what the message is out of this you sharing in this call, which is one with the assistant, you had massive disruption because that was your life. Like you could just go do your job.
Yeah.
Now you couldn't. You couldn't
Yes.
just go do your job, right? So you
No.
had to get sucked back into everything that you probably like me, and I'm gonna use the word hate. I hate that shit. I don't want paperwork. Don't give me paperwork. I don't have time for paperwork, right?
Yes.
So we had that. Then we had a mental headspace of like, okay, this year isn't quite what it was, and what I appreciate about this is you're looking at all the wins. Yes, it's still challenging to not be where you want to be or struggling differently with pushing that forward. But if you're able to really maintain that headspace of, hey, dude, it's just 1 year. Like, okay, I'm off, and who knows when I'll come roaring back. It could be in July or August or September, right?
Right.
And then just also wanting to be more debt free and like I keep when I'm on these calls, regardless if there's five of us here in total or if we have 20 or when I eventually build it up to like hundreds or 1,000, that's my happy place. This is where I want to be. It's not that it's stress free or it isn't stress free. This is us just being vulnerable, and I don't have to deal with like at the 11th hour, all of a sudden my lender saying, "Oh, we can't get this," and I'm like, "Well, you told me the loan's approved. What?" Like I'm so in my head, that's not where I want to be directing my energy, right? Full force. I don't want to be going to war all the time. I want to be that Vietnam War picture where the hippies putting a flower into the barrel of a gun. I want to be creating peace. And I can teach people how to go to war. I got no problem with that. I just don't want to sustain multiple escrows with that kind of a feeling simply because I just want my life to be on a different path. That's it. I don't, I've built up enough stuff. I feel good. Can't retire quite yet unless I move to Mexico or, Thailand. But yeah, it's just, I understand the vibe. But the thing is, and this is how I want you to wrap it up, Benny, with all those things going on, new assistant and figuring out new culture, wanting to not be the richest guy in the cemetery and actually live your life, and then also just more follow your dreams on everything and not beat yourself up if your year isn't as good as it was before. What do you want to tell us about all of those things, because they're all heavy, right? So how are you persevering?
Well,
How are you
I'm
persevering?
still alive. Um, and I'm getting happier every day. Um,
Now, that takes perspective, so share that perspective because you can't do that without changing your perspective.
because I honestly, I'm such a stat number guy, like high whistle. I really am too, right? And I'm in my head, and I'm like, okay, all this shitty stuff has happened. That shit's done now. It's half the year. Statistically, my rest of my year has got to be good. I mean, that's just a stat. That's just a stat there. But
But
as a
belief,
person,
but you have a
you know,
belief there too.
I do believe that. I really believe that. But then as a person, like my personal life, I mean, at home, my kid just graduated. My daughter's going to be a senior. My kids are healthy. I still have both. I hate to say this. I still have both my parents. I know you slash yours, Steve. So I
Oh
apologize.
yeah, no, and thank you, but that like this is just a part of life, man. That's
Yeah,
not the
you
thing, but
know.
yeah.
And so I just look at what I have coming up. I'm going to go celebrate my dad's 79th birthday in Vegas here, or 69th birthday. I apologize.
I hope you remember it.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna go there. I got a lot of fun stuff planned out. I just gotta close these deals in Asheville that keep on falling out. You know, when I say falling out, I'm talking about multiple falling outs. Like,
Yeah,
damn.
no, I hear you. Well, I'm excited for the second part of this year in real estate, honestly, because finally the market's being disrupted. I've been waiting for this for years. So it's been a while for me to
Yeah.
be excited about real estate, honestly, because this whole seller's market thing is, when I have listings, it's cool but still stressful. But for the buyers, and I've always been more of a buyer's agent, always, because I could always get them under contract immediately.
Yeah.
People are like, I hate buyers. It takes 6 months. I'm like, you got to learn how to qualify. So, right.
Going to that, I love buyers too. You know, I show them 4 or 5 homes. Which home do you want?
And boom.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. But a lot of people don't know how to do that. So it's buyers for them is like, it's keep it away. Me, I'm like, bring them back.
Yeah.
And so I'm super excited. Dave, if you're listening, I'm telling you right now, it's amazing right now. But yeah, no, I appreciate all those shares. And this is what I mean by what it means to lead. Like just being put on the spot and taking control of it and getting that initial frog in your throat and going, what's that for? I've done this a million times. So that's why I want to do it to you guys, because you're all leaders, right? Yeah, I initiate these calls. Yeah, I put this together, blah, blah, blah. So what? For me, it's all about, okay, now what? What do we do? You get put on the spot. Who are you? What do you do? Do you choke? And that's it. And even if you did, that's fine, because we're going to work through it. But it's about being able to step into the limelight and not avoiding, right? And I'll wrap it up with this. My whole like scholastic education, whatever, growing up, I always sat in the back. I always sat in the back because I was pushing everything away. I wasn't interested. I was distracting myself. I didn't want responsibility. Now, I'm always in the front. My hand's always up. I don't care if what I say makes me look like I got egg on my face. Who cares? That's just judgment, right? And judgment from others, dude, like, no thank you, but even if you give it to me, thanks, but I don't need it.
Right.
It's not something I'm absorbing. So it's like pay attention to that as we step up. Anything that kind of crawls into your throat or into your gut that chokes you up or chokes you out or silences you, that's literally judgment talking. That's it. Nothing, nothing more. It's your own story, it's your own judgment, and it's the biggest load of fucking bullshit you could ever put into your life, but it's the voice we hear. So as you work to change that or remedy it or alleviate it or shift the story or whatever, I don't know. That's you. But I'm just saying that it's not real. So as we call on more people tomorrow, it's going to be like this, and we're going to see similar things for some of the people that weren't able to jump on today. This is what we're going to see. Oh, I knew it, or I don't know what to say. It's like, yeah, you do. It's just that internal judgment is paralyzing you for a minute, and there's no need. So I appreciate you opening up and sharing that stuff, Benny.
Amen, brother.
All right, guys. We'll catch y'all mañana. Later.